Let's take a look at this GoHighLevel SaaS business that was recently included in the Acumen Wire newsletter. It is making $216,000 per year and was recently listed for sale at an asking price of $645,000, which is a 3.5x valuation multiple. This business was listed on Flippa.com. Here's the listing for it, and in this video, I'm going to go through and unpack the details of this listing, share some of my experience-based insight behind what I like and don't like about the business, challenges, risks, growth opportunities, and ultimately my opinion on the business valuation. So let's get into it. First up, this is very interesting because it is a GoHighLevel SaaS business. And if you're out there in the online business and marketing kind of world, you're probably familiar with GoHighLevel, and you know that there have been a lot of people building some very successful businesses on this platform. And my choice of the word platform there is very, very deliberate. So if you're not familiar with what GoHighLevel is, it is a SaaS product that allows you to white label it. And the SaaS product itself is a marketing slash CRM type of product. Basically, it facilitates building simple websites that can capture leads. The websites do have e-commerce functionality. Ultimately, that funnels everybody into a CRM that has functionality built out for email marketing and text message marketing as well. So it's got a bunch of different marketing features all pulled together into their SaaS that they allow you to white label for the price of, I think, like $500 a month. It is quite low. It's a pretty good value. And you can white label the software, sell it as your own, customize it quite a bit. And yeah, people have built some businesses on it, like this one here, that is doing, where is the revenue? Well, $41,566 a month in revenue. If we math that out, 41,566 times 12, it's doing a little over, well, not a little over, but almost $500,000 a year in revenue. So pretty good sized business. And I have a feeling there are a lot more businesses out there that are quite a bit bigger than this, built on the GoHighLevel platform. Now, my use of the word platform here, as I said, that is intentional. While this is listed as a SaaS business and you are providing software as a service to the customers, you don't actually own the software itself. This business that is for sale does not own the software itself. It is entirely dependent and operated on the platform that is GoHighLevel. All right, so we will come back and address that. Let's go through this listing and pick out some of the other key details real quick here. This one specifically is for real estate investors and wholesalers, so they've got a defined niche. It says they've got loyal users. It has been thriving since early 2023, so it is not a very old business. I would express that as saying this is not a time-tested business. Maybe a good business. It's just has not stood the test of time itself. It has 282 active subscribers, a very low churn rate. And let's see, I've already explained what GoHighLevel is. Operates with minimal time commitment, around 10 hours per week. It achieves effective management through established SOPs supported by a skilled technical team for onboarding, fulfillment, and support. So it's got a team. The margin on a gross basis is 75%. We'll come back to that. Operating margin of 35%. It, again, has that defined niche. And yeah, that is really all of the key details that I am seeing behind the business here. So what do I like about it? Well, let's start there. First up, I like the growth and I like the monthly reoccurring revenue. It's grown quickly. It has got solid recurring revenue behind it. And we can see the monthly profit there at $15,195. It's a nice, it's a pretty nice chunk of change, pretty nice income to be coming in. So there's some meat and potatoes here there are some meat and potatoes, even though this business is only 2 years old. I like that it's got 282 customers because the customer base is diversified at this point, and that's showing that there's a pretty good market or niche adoption. It's not like they just landed 1 or 2 whales of a client and picked up a few scragglers and suddenly got this size of business. And that does happen in the SaaS world. In this case, though, that is not the case. And I like the low churn rate, although with a business that's only 2 years old, I don't think the churn rate has really had enough time to materialize. So I would say that this is optimistically low. I think realistically, it's likely to be a little higher. I could be wrong on that, but I would really scrutinize that aspect. I also like that the business has a team and that they mention for onboarding. So one of the key success factors here with a business like this and all the features that GoHighLevel offers in its platform. Where's I going with this? Lost my train of thought there, or my word track. One of the things with this business is that users can sign up to it, but if they don't have proper onboarding, they just don't stick. This business has that team and they're handling the onboarding. That's very crucial for ensuring customer success and keeping the customers for a long period of time and maintaining that low churn rate. As the owner of the business, I personally would not want to be doing it. And they've also got a team in place for fulfillment and support. Okay, so I like that they have the team. I like the SOPs, and this may be outsourced. I should say that. There are agencies and businesses out there that are just built on handling these things for GoHighLevel providers. Listing doesn't specify what they've got going on, but either way, it seems to be working. Now, let's talk about the margins here. I like this gross margin at 75%. That's good. And the net operating income margin at 35%. That's not bad, but clearly we can see the difference. That's substantially lower than the 75%. Now, you may have picked up on this from what I said, and that is the GoHighLevel only costs about $500 a month for their SaaS offering or their SaaS level of service where you can resell it. And at that $500 a month, it is basically infinite, right? I don't think there's a limit on the accounts that you can have. So if you do the math, at $500 a month as the cost of goods here, you're going to notice that the gross margin seems a little low. So clearly there's something else in there that is beyond the product cost. And I believe that is going to be the cost of this skilled team that they have. That is likely what would be included in that included in the 25% of expenses to arrive at this gross margin of 75%. That's just my assumption based on what I know. And I think that's good, right? Even after paying the support team and all that, you're churning out 75% to the bottom line. Or I should say at that point, you have a 75% contribution margin to cover other expenses. And what other expenses would you have? Well, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say their other expense is advertising, paid advertising. They're acquiring customers with paid ads. In and of itself, that is not a bad thing. I like to see businesses that can operate profitably and have proven that they can operate profitably with paid ads. This business is doing that. So that's pretty good. While I'd like to see the margin certainly be higher for a SaaS or digital product, that's still pretty damn good. So I still like that margin, right? And I like that they can acquire customers with paid ads. That said, you can do the math here and see that they are spending a pretty fair bit on paid ads. If we were to say that 40% of their revenue goes to paid ads, you can do 41,566 times 0.4. They're spending $16,000 a month, rounded up, $17,000 a month on advertising. So this is certainly, beyond actually delivering the basics of a business, this is an advertising intensive business here. Okay. Now, what don't I like about this business? What things should you consider if you're interested in acquiring this business or any fundamentally this applies to any GoHighLevel SaaS business because I have seen them come up for sale before. There was one actually that I think I covered in the Acumen Wire newsletter, which I'll put a link below to that if you want to head on over there and get signed up to the newsletter where I send out online businesses that were recently listed for sale with my quick take on the business in a focus on established, profitable, and time-tested businesses. This business here, I did include as an interesting find in the Acumen Wire, but it is not my focus, which, this business is missing out on that time-tested part. Anyhow, with these GoHighLevel SaaS businesses, you are platform dependent. Everything you sell is dependent on this GoHighLevel platform. If GoHighLevel goes down, you're out. If GoHighLevel changes their service offerings, you have to change with them, right? You fundamentally do not, or actually not fundamentally, but you literally do not own the underlying software. Do I see GoHighLevel going anywhere? No, I think it'll be around, in the same capacity for quite a while, but, it could change. There is some risk to that. But bigger risk than that is the competition factor, because anybody can sign up and start up a GoHighLevel SaaS business and run out there and start selling it to this audience of real estate investors and wholesalers. And I have no doubt that since this business listing hit Flippa a few weeks ago, some people have spun up a GoHighLevel SaaS to go out and try to sell it to this user base. At the same time, there's nothing to prevent this customer base from just signing up to GoHighLevel directly here on one of their plans. I think it's like $97 a month. Yeah, they really don't give you the pricing until you get on to the next step, but it is, I'm pretty sure it's just $97 a month or $100 a month, right? So somebody could sign up to it directly. That said, the business in question here, this SaaS business we're looking at, could also offer at the same price point. We can do some quick math here and say, if they're charging $41,566, or if they're collecting $41,566 in revenue, divide that by their customer base of 282, they're charging their customers an average of $147. So they may already be price competitive with GoHighLevel. And that's good and all, but that still doesn't prevent or eliminate anyone else from going out and signing up to GoHighLevel. But it's very important to note that the business that we're looking at here can still bring value to their customers in that they have built everything out in GoHighLevel and it's customized for real estate investors and wholesalers specifically. Like which landing pages do they need? What thank you messages do they like? What are their email sequences that work best? What is the SMS template that works best? What fields of data do they need to keep track of, right? So that's how these GoHighLevel SaaS businesses can build value, that is adapting it to a specific niche, which this one has done. So while that platform risk is there, the competition risk is there, there are still ways to build value. So how do you grow this business if you're interested in acquiring it? Well, there's a couple ways that I've thought of. Number one, increasing organic exposure and content marketing. Okay, so that would mean publishing a lot of content, video content on YouTube, blog content, to ultimately build this audience here and effectively place the software that you're selling here, your business, as a necessary CRM or marketing tool for the industry. So that's one way of doing it. You could also take the content approach by doing a newsletter, daily newsletter for real estate investors / wholesalers. That would be another way to kind of grow the content. You could add some done-for-you services or customization services to the GoHighLevel thing. You could do reporting and analysis services, maybe do some type of quantitative analysis on the data, like where you extract it from their CRM and generate reports, kind of like financial modeling for it. Maybe you integrate some type of AI into their data and give them lead scoring. I don't know if that's a factor yet or if GoHighLevel has built that out already. You could also do conversion optimization, because a lot of these businesses are trying to generate leads. That's fundamentally what GoHighLevel is, a CRM and like lead nurturing software, right? So you could offer services to optimize the quality of inbound leads. There's a lot I could say on that because I am very big in the lead generation business. So I've got a lot of tricks up my sleeve there. That's one of the ways I could do it. But just keep that in mind. There are ways that you could optimize lead quality for these businesses that are trying to generate their leads and nurture them to close. So yeah, there's a few ways that you could grow it here. And I think that at $41,000 a month or 282 active subscribers, the market is far from saturation. I think there's plenty of room to grow. So on that note, what do I think about the business valuation here? Well, let's kind of look at this in context of what would make this a very good deal here at $645,000. And I think that would be seeing that they've really built this thing out to be unique for their market, not that they're just reselling a generic GoHighLevel SaaS. They've really customized it. The admin looks different, and largely this thing is unrelatable to GoHighLevel when you just look at it on the front end, and only somebody that was experienced with it could really identify it as a GoHighLevel SaaS. So differentiating there through their setup and also the visual look of the system. And I think if they have customer acquisition really, really down, then it would be worth this asking price here. On the flip side, what would skew things lower in valuation? Well, one thing that I see would be a diminishing return on ad spend, right? Clearly, they're spending a lot of money to acquire customers and grow through advertising. But what you might find when you look at the ad spend and the performance of their marketing is that a year ago, when they first started running ads aggressively, they got a real high return on ad spend. But in time, that return on ad spend is creeping down for two reasons. Number one, they are exploiting their audience. In other words, they're reaching all of the real estate investors and wholesalers that would want to sign up to this platform. And or number two, somebody else is also out there marketing and promoting GoHighLevel or a competing SaaS, a GoHighLevel SaaS. I guess it could be any real estate CRM, but otherwise said, they've got other competition that's came up in the marketplace. They're running ads. That is diminishing the return on ad spend for this business. So that would probably be the most negative factor that I could think of. Yeah, I mean, otherwise, this does seem like a good business. You could certainly calculate out the net present value of the future cash flows. That would be one way to evaluate here. In diligence, though, I would certainly want to analyze this churn rate, and I would, if I were going to model this out to calculate the net present value of their cash flows, I would certainly round this churn rate up. I'd probably look at this on a 10% churn rate. And then the other thing too to consider is their ad spend, right? Like what happens if they just stop spending on ads? They just say, hey, these are the customers we have. We are going to serve them and we are just going to let them run and churn out. You know, we'll roll out new updates as GoHighLevel updates things. To my knowledge, GoHighLevel has not made any major updates in a while. They continuously publish small updates, but largely the software is going to be what it is for the foreseeable future. I mean, it's kind of on its way to becoming a legacy SaaS. They make small updates for improvements, but nothing substantially is changing. So anyhow, if you stopped running ads, what does the net present value of the cash flow look like? That's something I would be curious to see, but overall here, at a 3.5x valuation, I think it's a little on the high side of fair. It's in the realm of fair, but I think more realistically, this business goes for a 2.8 to 3x multiple. That is more realistic of where it would trade, largely because it's just not that old. It doesn't have that much time on the books. If this were a 4 or 5 year old business and we really had an accurate perspective on the churn rate and how the return on ad spend and customer acquisition plays out over a few years, then it would certainly be worth this 3.5. If it were 4 or 5 years old, it would maybe be worth a little bit more if we could see that this business was stable and consistently growing and the return on ad spend was working for quite some time. But at this point, it's still a young business. And that always makes me ask the question, why are they selling, right? Like, you've got a business here that's only 2 years old, so you really can't make the burnout claim. And you only work 10 hours a week in the business, so you shouldn't be burnt out at all. Why sell, right? Sometimes you see businesses that are older, 10 or 20 years old, and the seller only works 10 hours a week in the business and they want to sell. That makes sense to me. Like, yeah, you don't work much in the business, but you're just mentally checked out of the business and you want to move on to other things. This business is only 2 years old. I really don't see that being the case. So what that tells me is that this seller just doesn't see any room to grow and that they're trying to sell at the top. So if you're going to be the buyer, you really have to understand how you can grow the business going forward, or be very comfortable in the net present value of this future cash stream going on. That's really all there is to it. But yeah, when I see businesses that are only 2 years old like this and doing quite well, I really don't know why somebody would want to sell it. So on that note, guys, if you found this video helpful and insightful, you know the drill. Smash that like button to help me out into the YouTube algorithm, and let me know what you think of the business valuation in the comments. I'm calling it a wrap and signing off.